There are a couple of aspects of my work that are surprisingly delightful in terms of vocation and calling. For me, a sweet spot is dealing with a person who feels maybe a little out of place and uncertain of how they might be able to be successful in a corporate environment when they maybe never thought they would land there. And I feel like I've got a great opportunity to align with that and relate to that, because I would have never called myself out as a trainer in a financial services company. At first, I wasn't sure exactly how working in financial services was the right fit. I was challenged by a few mentors in college to try something outside of my comfort zone, something that maybe I would have a good chance of failing at, because we can learn so much from failure. And I had played a lot of my life pretty strategic and pretty safe, and I was kind of energized by the idea of intentionally going after something where I might stumble quite a bit, but then have a good growth experience. So as an English major, I picked the most opposite internship I could find for myself when I was in college, which was working for a very large bank and giving it a try. It turned out there were amazing people there and an incredible opportunity to bring a slightly different twist and flavor to the setting. And they gave me just enough room to be my authentic self and to, interestingly enough, bring elements of social justice and leadership and many of my spiritual values into the workplace without overtly preaching or blessing people by saying, "I bless you," but a chance to make it important that I was the one showing up that day to bring positivity and a good energy and some right values and right direction. Even with people's money, we need to embrace that as one of God's gifts to us and think intentionally and carefully about how we use it as a tool and not as a means of controlling ourselves or others. And it's fun to be in a space where I get a chance to bring a different perspective to the people I meet with their work. Corporate America is an interesting place, but it doesn't have to be a scary place because it's filled with beautiful, amazing people who want to just show up every day as awesome. For me, it's about reframing the conversation about my workday. I don't start with defining what I do by saying, I work for a very successful Fortune 500 company. That's not part of how I introduce my work, my career, or my vocation. When I think about what I do, when I share what I do, in my heart, what I do is I'm working with people to inspire some positive changes in our neighborhoods. And I just happen to do it through the lens of finances. Other people do it through the lens of teaching children basic life skills so they can succeed when they grow up. My lens just happens to be predominantly helping neighbors in our community make their banking life less stressful. For me, I reframe it about what can I bring into any work that I do, and I think that any of us can bring more joy and more laughter and more peace to others no matter what it is we're doing. And corporate America needs that too, just as much as a school needs it, just as much as a nonprofit needs it. We need brilliant, happy people everywhere who love their neighbors and want to make life easier on others in every kind of industry. And we don't have to label certain jobs as good or bad, right or wrong. Growing up, I really thought about nonprofits and educators in our schools as like the most noble professions out there. But I've learned in interesting ways too that there's gifts in serving in a variety of different capacities. We have a woman who just retired as a cleaner of one of our buildings. And she was a cleaner for her whole career, for the same company, working in one of our buildings for a really, really long time. And she did above and beyond spot cleaning of this bank branch to the extent where most people wouldn't notice the details. But she was a real inspiration for me in thinking about whatever we do, we can serve our neighbors. And the few times I would overlap working late and run into her, she would talk about little things she had done, had anyone noticed, or a change she was doing to make it easier for customers who might be in a wheelchair, moving a rug around, scrubbing on her hands and knees some of our entryways to make sure that no matter what neighborhood customers were in, they deserved a beautiful building to do their banking, a place to be proud to bring their business. Knowing that she had just a joyful spirit in the work that she did, that many of us would overlook and notice as something really simple, reminded me, wow, if she can make a difference with where she puts a rug, imagine what I can do as I train 50 people a week who are going to talk with these neighbors who come in our doors. Kind of gives you a no excuse approach to whatever work you're in terms of bringing blessings to other people.